Another day, another zombie film which fails to deliver a moment as epic as the one found in 2006's Stubbs the Zombie in Rebel Without a Pulse. I mean, there are loads of other things disappointing about Train to Busan presents Peninsula, not least the fact that I still don't get paid by the word, or indeed paid at all, so I'll be calling it Peninsula from this point on, as this film literally has nothing to do with Train to Busan, with the film merely being set in the same universe and featuring no recurring characters, plot threads, locations, quality control, or a consistent tone. Anyway, 4 years after the last film, we find that South Korea has been evacuated, quarantined, and left to rot. Our hero, Gang Dong-won, as Jung-suk, a former soldier who is tasked with leading a small group of fellow South Koreans back into South Korea in order to retrieve a truck full of money that was left behind during the evacuation. Naturally, there's a ticking clock element, but it doesn't seem to bother anyone in the film, so I fail to see why I should care either. So yes, on one level it's as generic as it sounds and could be based off of any number of films with a similar plot, just set in the boring Korea instead of New York, LA, Scotland, or any other film where the hero has to go in and get a MacGuffin against a time limit. Now, that's not a bad idea in and of itself. A touch flat, but in most zombie films rarely have a plot more complicated than go in and get the widget and then come out again without becoming dinner, or get away from the things that want to turn you into dinner by getting to the safe place. Train to Busan did the whole get to the safe place plot, so it makes sense that Peninsula does the other. Besides, in a genre known for its social commentary, the plot doesn't really matter. It's a springboard into the real meat of the film. So what have we got? Peninsula, the poor being exploited for the whims of the rich, the emptiness of modern society making us so dead inside that we wouldn't notice a zombie apocalypse until it was too late. I mean, Train to Busan is a scathing indictment of Korean society, highlighting the archaic hierarchy where the entitled rich screw over everybody in order to survive, hashtag just saying. Similarly, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is about classism represented by zombies, or You Have Warm Bodies, which is simply Romeo and Juliet with zombies. You forgot to pack the social commentary, didn't you, Peninsula? Let me guess, you've remembered to pack the group of soldiers sent to help who have now gone feral and pose a bigger threat than the actual zombies, and the family trapped and just trying to survive in the zombie-infested hellhole whilst trying desperately to escape? Oh, well, at least you remembered that dying and being resurrected doesn't turn you into an over-caffeinated Cirque du Soleil acrobat, rather a slow, shambling horror who requires only a single mistake to turn a poor actor into lunch, and you've turned them into over-caffeinated Cirque du Soleil acrobats, haven't you? And that's just the beginning of this film's errors. It's in dire need of a severe trip to the editor's scissors, as 30 minutes of this 2-hour film's runtime can be lost without losing anything except reducing the constant, unending, repetitive, stateless action scenes to a more tolerable level. Giving the film a consistent tone might be a good call as well. In one scene, a mother tenderly holds her infected son as the music swells and she is then bitten by said son. In another, a desperate unarmed survivor fights to survive against a zombie rat king and his now former, now turned fellow desperate survivors as the baying mob places bets on their survival, whilst a few scenes later a teenager in a car effortlessly runs over hundreds of zombies whilst pulling off bad CGI, I mean car stunts that even the Fast and Furious franchise would find stupid. The ending stretches and then snaps the suspension of disbelief, with both myself and my wife finding 10 different better ways to end the film which didn't create endless plot holes. Sometimes the film has a harrowing, harsh tone, and at others it feels like a bad kids movie from the 80s. Its characters are flat, generic, and frankly there are far too many of them for a film of this type. For a relatively low budget, $16 million, it's got way too much CGI, which has no business being in a zombie film to begin with. And whilst there is some fright seeing a wave of zombies running towards our desperate survivors, the film never takes the time to develop that scene, allowing a moment of dread and fear as our survivors try to escape against impossible odds, instead of relying too often on them either being saved by something outside of their control or by a method that just looks ridiculous and wouldn't work. The film's last half hour is simply a punishing, unending, wacky racist car chase with neither a clear sense of geography nor time, and I just didn't care. I didn't care about our lead, the side characters. I didn't care in the first 10 minutes when the music was insisting that a character that had maybe 10 lines of dialogue should be moving me to tears. I didn't fear what I guess was supposed to be the human villain. I didn't fear the zombies who were either a CGI tidal wave or looking way too good for someone who had allegedly been dead for 4 years. There seemed to be no shortage of ammunition, food, water or petrol, and without an engaging plot or social commentary, there was nothing for me to do but pick holes in the film whilst waiting for it to end. Look, is Peninsula the worst zombie film I've ever seen? Of course not whilst the Resident Evil franchise exists, but this is a film which doesn't know if it wants to be a tense film with some humorous moments or an over-the-top, non-stop action thriller with some tense moments. Mostly, I just wanted it to stop so I could go and watch Train to Busan again. So I absolutely definitely think that you should skip it. But what do you guys think? And what is your favourite zombie film? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel. It's been Dunking. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe.